Merry Christmas to everybody out there. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays, you know, whatever your preference is. But it's just after 8 in the morning and on Christmas Day, and we got a no heat call. The one of my family members' properties that they have tenants in it. The gas heat is not working. It's an old Rheem gas furnace, condensing gas furnace. They said that nothing is happening at all. So my wife and kids are still asleep, so I'm going to head over there and see if I can't figure out what's going on. I'm not sure what I'll find. They said absolutely nothing's happening, so maybe we got a safety out or something like that, or maybe a pressure switch is stuck closed and the thing's not even starting the draft motor. They said they can't hear it doing anything. So I'm recording this on my phone. My GoPro's still having audio issues. I got something inside of the camera that's fallen apart and is covering one of the speakers, so the audio keeps cutting in and out, and I'm sick and tired of fooling with it. So I'm going to run over here to this family member's property here and see if we can't restore the heat. I don't know if I'll have parts on my van for it. Who knows what's going on, but figure I need to get over there and try to get this thing fixed up, or see if I can. Luckily today it's supposed to be mid-60s. It's probably 50, 52 outside right now, and it's supposed to be warm over the next several days, but the beginning of next week we're supposed to get cold, high of like 30 and lows in the teens. So hopefully it's something that I can get fixed up and they don't have to wait on parts. But this thing is I think like 30 years old. All right, let's get over there and see if we can't get it fixed up for them. All right, well, you guys that have followed my channel in the past, you've seen me work on this before. I had a call on it during the Gatlinburg fires, and we had smoke in the crawl space. Waited, that was on my old channel before I deleted it. Now this channel, I think I had a video where I waited six weeks on a blower wheel for this thing, OEM blower wheel. So yeah, it's definitely worked on this thing in the past. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. It's in the 60s inside the house right now. I have the thermostat off, so I'm just going to jump it out down here. I just brought my little Vito attachment bag with some tools, meter, jumpers, things like that. It's a pain in the butt to get in this crawl space. You gotta use a ladder and crawl through the wall. You gotta climb up this hill that this thing sits on. It's a rough one to get to and work on. All right, so I just got the doors off. Went ahead and took the door off to the board here and pressed in on the interlock switch, the power switch there, and had two solid green lights. No flash codes. I have replaced this board in the past. It was bad. The outdoor AC was completely iced up. Line set was frozen, and the blower wasn't turning on in AC mode. So many years ago, I had to replace the board on that. So this isn't one that has flash codes, or at least it's not listed, you know, in the schematic. There's nothing there for flash codes. But I pressed in and I'm just getting two solid green lights there. So let's, I think what I'm gonna do is just make sure all my safeties are closed and that my pressure switch is open. It only has this one pressure switch on it. So I wanna make sure my pressure switch is open. They said absolutely nothing was going on. So maybe we got bad draft motor, who knows? They said they couldn't even hear that running. I'll just do an initial safety check on it and see what it's doing, and then you know, we'll try to fire it, jump it out, and try to fire it here. Okay, I just wanted to do an initial check here. So the limit over here on the blower housing, it's closed. Rollout switch here is closed, and then we got a rollout switch here, which, man, that thing is a bear to try to get some leads on. Then we have another rollout switch right there. Again, a bear. I basically put my lead in from this side right here, and then had my other lead like that. And then I took this little part off so I could, you know, get more metal there and could fish it in there. So both of those rollout switches are closed. My main temp limit down here is closed, and the pressure switch is open. So everything appears to be where it's supposed to be. I did notice I got a white spot on the igniter down there, hot surface igniter. I replaced that. That's an OEM igniter. I don't remember, maybe a couple years ago, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years at the most. That failed on this thing before. I put an OEM Rheem hot surface igniter on it, and you can see it's got a white spot on it. I think what I'm going to do now is put my little magnetic door switch on the interlock switch there, push that closed, and then we'll jumper out R to W. All right, we got 2 solid lights there, like I mentioned before. Got my little Supco magnetic door switch on this one. I like this one for these style. The switcheroo doesn't seem to get on there and be able to hold anything, so this one works with this style because that interlock sticks out a good ways. Let's go ahead and we're going to jump R to W. I'm using a jumper like this. The magnetic jumpers won't attach to these screws here. They're not magnetic, so you got to use a standard jumper on it. So let's see if this draft motor will start, or where this thing is failing the sequence here. All right, got the jumper on and draft motor's running. They said that it wasn't doing anything. Maybe they just didn't hear it running. Draft motor is running. I bet that igniter cracked on us again. Boy, that's pitiful that a hot surface igniter, an OEM one from Rheem. I just heard it click. That's pitiful that a hot surface igniter only lasts a couple years, an OEM hot surface igniter. I'd have to look back on my receipts, but it's, golly, I want to say 2, maybe 3 years old. Yeah, that thing's not glowing. I bet we got a hot surface igniter failure. I mean, that big white, there it went. You could hear it click. There's the gas. Yep, gas fired. You could hear the gas valve fire. I'm gonna pull that door switch. So, daggone hot surface igniter's bad. What a piece of junk. Man, I had just put that on there. I have to look back at my receipts, but golly, I want to say 2, maybe 3 years ago. 2, I think, something like that. OEM. Gotta love the quality nowadays. Nothing but quality. All right, well, I got one of those on my van, I'm pretty sure. I got that OEM Rheem one, so I'm gonna go grab a hot surface igniter off my van and we'll swap it out here. What a piece of junk, man. All right, well, to get this thing out, you got 2 screws back there, 1/4 inch, and you got this little plug here. So I got the plug loose. I'm gonna take those 1/4 inch nuts out there, pull that thing out of here. Typically, you see them white spots, they're smoked. Sometimes you can get lucky. You always want to replace them when you see them, but man, I can't believe this thing. It's got to be 3 years old max. Well, she is smoked for sure. That is cracked. Not sure how well the camera will pick that up, but it is 100%, it is cracked. Man, what a piece of junk. You could ohm test this as well. Well, proof this is the issue here. It's a lot easier to do this with it out, but I got my meter leads on this thing right here, holding it on. Continuity beep, I got no beep. It's open loop. So that thing is cracked. All right, well, to get this thing apart, you just take that little screw off. This whole little bracket assembly comes off. This one was an exact OEM replacement because it still has the stock plug on it. This one that I have on my van is an OEM replacement, but it's it doesn't have the connector on it, which sucks. So I might end up cutting this off here and then wire nutting it so I can keep this connector plug on it. That way it can connect right back into here. So I might do that. I'm just gonna pop this bracket off. I already got the screw loose here. You just got to put it back on the same way. There's a little piece right here. You got to make sure that you're putting the brackets on the correct side, and should slide right back in there. All right, I got the bracket back on here. And just see, you got to line it up, put that thing back in, and I'm going to mount that back in place in there. Helps to have a long nut driver. Them Kleins, the long ones, help get in there, and make sure you don't hit that limit, and things can get a little brittle over time. But I'm gonna get that thing mounted back in, and then I think what I'm gonna do is just cut this off. That way I can use this connector. All right, well, I got the igniter back in there. Something I should mention, you want to make sure you don't put your hand on that material for the hot surface igniter. You don't want any of your oils from your hand on that thing. It'll make a weak spot over time. All right, I got that thing mounted back in. The Klein nut drivers, man, these things are probably one of the best tools I ever bought working on HVAC equipment. I got a 5/16 and a 1/4 inch. They are great, man. Long handle. Had them for years. They've been a great tool for me. All right, well, let's go ahead and get this thing wired up here. Always a good idea to test continuity on these things. You can see we got 71.8 ohms, 71.7. Little fluctuation there. Always a good idea to test resistance on those before you put them back in. Make sure the part you have is good. I went ahead and put some wire nuts, stripped back this high temp coating here, and tied them together by hand, you know, twisted them up, and then wrapped the wire around itself a couple times, put on a wire nut, and then wrapped it with some Super 33 just as an additional mechanical connection. So you got the twist on the actual wire itself. On the strip part, you have a twist on this part of the wire. You got the wire nut there, and then you got the tape as backup. It is, you know, a hot surface igniter, so it's running, you know, higher voltage to it at 120 volts. So want to make sure that's a good connection. So really all I need to do now is plug this back in. Probably have to zip tie this up to this bundle here to make sure it's out of the way. A good distance from the flames. The little nuts that come with it, they're like the little, I guess, ceramic. Those things suck, man. They don't do good at all. So I didn't use them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing plugged in here, and we'll restore high voltage to the furnace here. I still got my jumper on R and W, and we'll make sure this thing will fire up. Okay, I got the wires all zip tied here. Got my connector back in. Got a zip tie up top. I got two down here. It's hard to see in there, I know. The light is like right behind me, so it always is throwing a shadow. I got a headlamp on, but got it, it's still throwing shadows. But yeah, I got it zip tied. Got the wires bundled up, tightened in. I wanted to make sure that the wires from my hot surface igniter are not going to be sitting there resting on one of the main temp limit wires. Over time, that vibration could end up taking out that limit. So want to make sure that's not sitting there vibrating. That'd be bad. It'd end up probably taking that limit out. So I got this thing all secured here. The wires are back away from the flames. And I'm going to go ahead and restore power to the furnace here. And we're going to make sure that this thing fires up. Go ahead and get the door switch back on. I'll go ahead and put this back on too. The little door for the board. And I was thinking about something. This is an OEM replacement board. I wonder if this one would have been flashing a code. When I open the door, of course, it kills the power to it. When I took this off and pressed in on that, I just had two solid green lights. Maybe the original board didn't have any flash codes, you know, with this furnace, but maybe this one did. I don't know, but it wasn't flashing anything. Just two solid green lights. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing tested and see if we have a hot surface igniter here. I'm still just bothered that an OEM part lasted 2 to 3 years. And you know, when you're buying these OEM parts, you're paying a premium price for these products, but the quality of OEM parts now is just not the same as it was 5-6 years ago, even before the pandemic. It has drastically dropped the quality, and the prices have doubled and tripled on these things. I mean, it's insane how much we're paying for parts now for this HVAC, for any kind of HVAC equipment, yet the quality is just not what it used to be. All right, let's go ahead and try this thing out. Hopefully we got a gas furnace operation here. All right, so the draft inducer is running. Pressure switch, single one on this unit should satisfy. Then we should see the glow. I'm gonna turn off my headlamp so we can see the glow on that hot surface igniter. So last time I heard a click on the board, and the hot surface igniter did not glow, and then the gas valve opened. I could hear the gas running. Okay, I just heard the click, pretty sure. So we should start seeing that thing glowing. Yep, and there we go, it is glowing. Should glow nice cherry red. Should hear the gas valve. There's the gas valve. We should have gas. And we do. We have gas. Nice. So I mean, these hot surface igniters do take a beating. I will say that, you know, they're right in the flame. And, you know, they're just getting smoked all the time. There's the blower. So now we got the blower. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the R off. I always pull my hot off first when I'm taking a jumper off. So we're going to satisfy this heat call. Let that blower cool everything down. There we go. Alright, so I always like to take my red off on my jumper. I'll normally put my red on last, and then I'll pull it off first. That way you don't accidentally short it and end up having to replace a fuse. If it doesn't have a fuse, you can mess up the transformer, right? So she's running now. We'll let this blower cool that heat exchanger for the delay on brake for the blower, and then we'll put the doors back on, and once the doors are back on, I'll go up to the thermostat on the main level here and turn it back to its set point of 70 degrees in heating, and let this thing warm this house back up. So got a text from my wife. They're awake and wondering where I was at, so I gotta get home and let the kids open up the few Christmas gifts we got for them. Hope everybody's having a Merry Christmas. I'm glad I had the part on my van for this one. I'm gonna do a temporize check when I fire the unit up, and then we're also going to just walk through the house with the CO detector, make sure everything's okay. But yeah, so pretty easy fix. I saw that white spot in there, and man, that's can't believe this thing already failed. It's just really sad that you're paying all this money for OEM parts, and the OEM parts just don't even appear to be any better than the aftermarket parts, man. It's hard to find parts now that will last. It really is frustrating. We've really taken a turn in the wrong direction in the HVAC industry, especially since the pandemic. But it really started in the early 2000s. 2010, we really started to see a decline in parts quality with the SEER change and 410A coming out. I mean, it's just been on a steady decline. It really is kind of embarrassing. You know, now I got to tell this family member, oh, I had to put another igniter on. Didn't you just do that a few years ago? Yeah, I sure did. Your high quality OEM part lasted 2 years, 3 years max, you know. It's just frustrating. I do have a hot rod on my van that I carry. I could have put that on. That might last longer because it's not this material on these, but I don't know. It's got brackets and stuff like that, but I always try to use OEM parts when I can. I do work on a lot of Rheem around here. We got a lot of Rheem and Rude, a lot of Goodman, more Goodman than anything else. We got so many Goodman dealers. But I try to carry that style hot surface igniter on my van because I run into a lot of Goodman furnaces. And this is the older model Rheem. There was a revision to this model that used a spark igniter there, and those typically are more reliable than the hot surface igniter. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get these doors back on and turn the thermostat up, make sure this thing runs, do a temperature check, just walk through and make sure I don't see any CO, and then I'm going to get home to the family. All right, well, I didn't shoot an outro while I was driving home. I'm back home at the house. I'm going to run inside. My wife, like I said, had texted me saying, hey, we're up. Where are you at? I'm like, on a service call, you know, fixing to no heat on Christmas morning. I'm listed as closed right now, yesterday and today, but you know how that goes. If you have an existing customer, they'll call you Christmas Day. They'll call you 2 in the morning, 12 at night, 5 in the morning, 5, 6 times in a row, 157 text messages. You know how that goes. With a one-man operation, you're kind of it. You got to make that decision. Are you going to go out and take care of the customer, or are you going to potentially lose a customer, you know? This being a family member's rental property, it's a easy decision. And if it's an existing customer, easy decision. You want to take care of the customer, you know? Want to be able to support my family. So life of an HVAC guy, you know how that goes. Can't have much of a personal life sometimes. It just is what it is. But really disappointed on that hot surface igniter only being a couple years old and already taking a dump, man. That's just pitiful, you know. I really am disappointed with where the industry is right now, even with tools. The stuff you're paying record high pricing for just doesn't last anymore, man. Nothing is made to last. It's made so that you have to keep buying crap. You're buying tools and it doesn't even last through the warranty period, and you get it out of the warranty period and it dies. And you keep having to buy these same tools over and over again. You're fixing components on machines using OEM parts, and the parts aren't going to last anymore. It really is frustrating. I'm glad that I did have that hot surface igniter on my van. Was able to get their heat back up and running. But yeah, it's just really frustrating time. Anyways, enough blabbing. Want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. Hope everybody's having a good one. I'm going to get in here to the family and watch the kids open the few gifts we got them for Christmas this year. A little smaller Christmas with the inflation, but still should be good. You know, it's about spending time with the family, and that's the most important thing. So I hope everybody has a good holiday season. You guys stay safe out there. Get home safe to your family. Thanks for watching. You guys take care. I'll talk to you later.